Randy, it's getting better, man. They told me that this huge surgery that I had on my nose last week would get better, and it's getting better. I can smell now, dude. You know? and it's no longer bright red like Rudolph.
That's great, man. That's great. You know, as we as we put more miles on our lifetime, we need a little maintenance, just like with a car. And so I'm glad you're doing well. And awesome. Hey, Randy Wooden with Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina, executive director. Well, not really. I guess just director, whatever. Call me whatever you want. But I run our professional center out of Winston-Salem. Although, like a lot of companies, we are doing a good bit of remote work. And that's something that is, we're almost 2 years into COVID. Ought to be getting used to it by now, I guess, right, my friend?
That's right, man.
Yep. But yeah, if you're a job hunter or you know somebody who might be, reach out to me. We're happy to try to help. Services are free, and been at this quite a while. So I'm excited about what I do, really enjoy it, and get to meet a lot of interesting and fun people along the way. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Teddy, who are you?
Cool. So those who have never met me or seen me before, I'm Teddy Burriss. I'm a little bit lighter now that I've had a little bit chopped off my nose, but it's getting better, and it was a good thing to do. But our business is Burriss Consulting. We're social media strategists. Our focus is helping business professionals master the use of LinkedIn as a business tool and master the use of Google Workspace for business. So we love doing training and coaching and helping people get real value out of these business tools. But every week, Randy and I get together a couple different times in the public eye for us to share ideas and bring special guests to our Wednesday show. And on Monday, we talk about some stories that we have to share, and we'll introduce our speaker for this week. And then we also got a few tips. Randy and I are always full of tips.
Oh yeah, we also, this is something we'll have to check with our show editors and producers. But I always enjoy talking about this date in history or famous people who celebrate a birthday and or kind of cool things that went on. So here's one for you. Betty White would have turned 100 today. Betty White would have,
that much.
She got so close, but also a rather eclectic mix of characters who were born on this date, and to include Muhammad Ali. Everybody's heard of him. Al Capone, notorious.
Yeah.
And Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah. Didn't Al Capone cut people's noses off when they got on his nerves?
No, I think it was kneecaps, but it could have been that too. But here's something too, and this I'm an old media guy, so for me this was interesting. But back in '84, Supreme Court ruled it was only a 5-4 ruling. But remember back in the early '80s when VCR started to come into play?
Yep,
unintended. But there was a big dust up about, okay, if you're going to record something on your home VCR for playback later, are you able to do that? And it made it all the way to the Supreme Court. And again, it was only a 5-4 ruling, but the court said, no, it does not violate copyright laws. Yes, you can do it. That was back in '84. You think now about how the proliferation, how's that for a word?
Yeah, big word.
The shows, the media you can get anytime, anywhere, whether it's your phone, your watch, your TV, you name it, it's out there. But back in '84, that was a huge deal. And I'm old enough to remember that, and old enough to remember how to program a VCR. So,
and I'm proud of the fact that you are still old and you can remember that stuff, Randy.
I do. It doesn't flash 12. I remember that was always a big deal when I'd go to my in-laws. We'd always see that flashing 12, and they'd wait for me to come there to fix their VCR. So anyway, so much for that. But no, we've got some good stuff to share today, Teddy. So do you want to start off with your story? Or
yeah, let me tell you my story. And I may have mentioned it before. Randy and I have talked about it, but I'm really excited about it. Getting this journey really moving forward. And I'm going to become a SCORE mentor. And for those who don't know what SCORE is, it's a society. I may not be saying the name exactly right. SCORE, SCORE. They're business mentors, and they help for free. It's all over the U.S. There's thousands and thousands of SCORE mentors who, show up weekly, either in person, and lately been doing more virtual, just to help small startups and businesses who want to grow, who want to be more successful. They need someone to share ideas with, and someone who can share ideas with them and introduce them to other resources that can help them. SCORE mentors, just look for score.org. It's a really cool program. Anybody else who is of the age where you are, wanting to start giving back more and not so much interested in making millions of dollars like I used to make in my mind, maybe you want to volunteer more, and SCORE is a great place for business professionals to help others. So that's my story, Randy.
Yeah. And I could be wrong, but I think it's the Service Corps of Retired Executives.
Yep.
And I'd looked them up some years back when I started a small business myself. So excellent, Teddy. I'm glad that you can share your expertise with people that can benefit from it.
They're using that phrase less often because not all of their mentors are retired. Yeah, they might be front side of it, but they're not all retired. So it's a good group. Good group.
Yeah. Well, my story, I write a column, as you know, every other Sunday in the Winston-Salem Journal. So yesterday, that would be the 16th. I wrote my column. It's in the business section, so you can find it online. You can also check my LinkedIn page and find it there as well. But of course, today being Martin Luther King holiday, I got thinking a little bit because my dad and Martin Luther King are within a few years of each other. And I got to thinking a little bit about what was life like in the business world, in the job situation. Because again, that's what I do for a living, is help people with job changes. And I got to thinking about job security. And back in the day, again, we're talking people born in the 30s, right? They tend to stay with the same company for the most part, for most of their career. And so my story was about how we, as current, contemporary folks here, what does job security mean for us? I mean, how many people do you know, Teddy? Think about it. How many people do you know who have worked for 40 years for the same employer?
A lot. I mean, there are a fair number. It's a dwindling number, but it's still a real number.
Yeah, there's some out there, but by and large, people that are coming out of high school or college today is just not going to be the case, and for a variety of reasons. So I talk a little bit about that in the column, but yeah, I just think this whole, if anything is constant, it's change. And that's an example. So there's that. Yep.
So good stuff. So, hey, should we talk about our Wednesday show and our special guest for this week?
Yeah, Mary Ann's coming in, huh?
Mary Ann Hauser, a good friend of mine. I've known Mary Ann for years. She owns an action coach franchise or business. One of the top successful action coaches in the U.S. She's ranked up in the top 100 coaches for the past 5 years. And really good lady, smart lady, got a great team of people. And Mary Ann's going to come to the conversation, the show. The conversation is going to be, I'm using a title of you can be an employee or you can be an employer. It's your choice. And so we're going to talk about, what does it mean to be an employer? What does it mean to be an employee of a company? And we're going to talk about, if you want to be an employer, what does it mean to grow your business? And what does it mean to build the right foundation so that you can be successful? And these are conversations that a lot of job seekers are having today. They're looking at, do I want to go back to work for somebody, or do I want to hang my own slate? And Randy knows this way better than I do. This whole reorganization or realignment or that's going on in the world today, starting your own business is a thought that a lot of people are having. So join us on Wednesday, 11:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a couple days from now, as we celebrate Mary Ann Hauser being our special guest in the conversation of, you can be an employer or you can be an employee. It's your choice.
And I could be wrong, man. Maybe their business model has changed, but Mary Ann typically consults with small companies, entrepreneurs, and I'll say under 10 employees. In other words, kind of the bootstraps. Let's start this thing from nothing. And one of the real challenges is, there are only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
and you only know so much going into the business. That's why you're hooking up with SCORE, is so you can add value to people who are considering maybe starting a business. And I always say, we don't know what we don't know. And here's a prime example. Well, somebody like Mary Ann, if you are an employer, a small employer, you may be really skilled in, let's say, the delivering of the service. But what about bookkeeping? What about accounting? What about a whole myriad of other issues? So she can kind of tie all that together if that is something that might be on someone's mind. Hey, I've got a tip for you, Teddy, and I shared this with you earlier last week, I think it was, but I was on LinkedIn. And I mean, there are tons of people on LinkedIn. This all goes back to one word, and it's called proofreading. Proofreading. So I was reading this person's profile. They had sent an invitation to connect. I don't know who they are. They have nobody in common with me, maybe one person, but I don't even really know who that person is. But I always go to their page just to check them out in case there's something I'm missing. And so I don't want to miss out on that. And this individual had, in talking about their work, they had said, I reach perfection every day. Perfection, Perfiction.
Is that a town?
It's not Princeton. It's Perfection. And I saw that. I'm like, oh, my goodness. Just like you talk about, I'm a manger or a manger at a company. Or a whole host of things. So take the time, read it over. In fact, you may even want to have somebody else take a look at it. I mean, a lot of us are gearing up, new year, new job search, that kind of a thing. And if you are, make sure your resume reads well. And a lot of times when it's us, meaning I'm doing my own resume, I know what I think it should say.
Yeah. And
so my eyes tend to glaze over typos because I know what I mean to say. Have Teddy Burriss take a look, have me take a look at. And sometimes that other set of eyes can really point out some things that could just derail your job search quick as anything. There you go.
I had a good friend of mine. I hired her to do this for me, Randy. She does it. Every word I type, she looks at. Every single word I type, she looks at. Her name is Grammarly.
Oh.
You know, she hangs with me on all of my devices. So if I type the word incorrectly, she goes, Teddy. So my point is, Randy's spot on. Don't make a proofreading mistake. You get someone to help you do it, and or subscribe to Grammarly. It's free to begin with. Can help you from looking like a fool. So
it's not 100% perfect, but it's a good 90%. And so 90% is better than nothing, especially when nothing doesn't cost you anything.
And I think that Grammarly would catch the perfection.
I would certainly hope so. I got a good laugh out of Teddy. That and I wasn't feeling too well recently, and that kind of I had a little of the crud or whatever. Not COVID, but just didn't feel right on the game. And I laughed so much that my chest and stomach started to hurt. I hate to laugh at somebody's expense, but in that case, when you say perfection, I mean, it just the irony was so.
I remember looking at that, and that was pretty cool. I was pretty bad, pretty good, pretty bad, pretty good. So, hey, here's my tip, Randy. I get called into these conversations all the time, and I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it. So, I need your help to stop these conversations from happening. I get people who call me or email me or message me or hit me up on Quora or YouTube or LinkedIn or Tinder, and they ask me this question, not Tinder. They say, Teddy, I lost access to my account because I can't remember my password. I don't have my backup phone number. I don't have my backup email address. I don't have my backup codes, and I can't get into it. Oh, my golly. Look, folks, don't create an account and jump in it and start working until after you finish setting it up. And when you set up your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Google, your Gmail, whatever the account is you're putting online, make sure you turn on two-step authentication and save the backup code so you can use those in case you don't have your phone. Make sure if it asks you for a recovery email address, you put a recovery email address on there for an email message you're never going to freaking lose. And if it has the ability to put a phone number on there so it can send you a message and help you recover your account, put the phone number on there and never lose that phone number. Randy, do I sound like I'm ranting and raving?
I get your point, my friend. And I hear it frequently.
I hate it for people.
Yeah. It's a self-induced injury, if you will. So take the time, do it right, set it up the first time, and you'll thank us later. How does that sound?
Right. Yeah. All right, buddy. I will see you at 11:55 a.m. tomorrow, and I hope everybody else joins us for a conversation with Mary Ann Hauser on being an employee or an employer. It's your choice.
Be Wednesday. It's going to be Wednesday, the 19th, not tomorrow. Right. It's going to be Wednesday the 19th. So we'll do that, and we look forward to having you join us. We'll see you then, folks.
All right, buddy. Take care, man. Bye.